On for the Princeton Tigers, Stella Veith, Maddie Kramer, India Weir. For Yale, it's Carmel Fitzgibbon, Bridget Vitu, Ruby Barton, and Claire Archer. Columbia, Seneca Willen, Tess Darnell, Lucy Henkel, and Nicole Vanasse. From Brown, Isolde McManus, Kate Scanlon, Kayla Brenner, Isabel Stronsky. And from Penn, it's Lizzie Bader, Kaya Jelly, Phoebe White, and Olivia Morganti. We'll get this event started, and then we'll hear from the winner of the 5,000 and 3,000. Victoria Patterson is about to join us here trackside. First, we'll start the women's distance medley relay. We are off and underway, and we welcome in Victoria Patterson. Have you caught your breath yet after what has been a busy weekend for you, not only running around the track, but hiking up to the podium?
Yes, sir. It's been quite an exciting weekend with my teammates, especially this 5K, to go out there and run with my teammate Elia, work together, secure 1 and 3. That was a truly amazing experience.
Yeah, was that part of the game plan? Because you two were running together for a significant amount of time, and she's an accomplished runner. She's certainly no rabbit for you. She was out there competing, got a top 3 finish. So what was the game plan that you wanted to stick to today?
Yes, we were definitely feeding off of each other. We do that in training. We work together in a line format. And so that was the plan through 2 miles today. And then after that, it was a race.
And at that point, did you have an idea of, you ended up winning by quite a margin. Did you have an idea that was what you were opening up behind you?
I was listening to my coach on the home stretch, and I knew I had about 20 meters on the field. But honestly, I didn't look back. I was just running forward.
Yeah.
Here at Heps, this is certainly a unique event. I know you've raced in the ACC at that event. What do you compare the two, as far as your career, first at Duke and now at Columbia?
Well, honestly, the atmosphere at Heps is amazing. I came here when I was a freshman in high school at Deerfield Academy. I would come up here with my coach and watch all the Ivies compete against each other, and I love the camaraderie. So I prefer this atmosphere, definitely.
We made the crack. Deerfield's color is very similar to Dartmouth. Maybe you were inspired by what you saw around the track, and that helped release another level for you.
It was a little bit of nostalgia looking at the big green D, definitely.
But have you gotten used to the snow and the single-degree temperatures? I don't imagine that you're...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
A little bit of a shock for me.
Well, Victoria, congratulations on the victory here yesterday and today. Big weekend for you in the distance events.
I appreciate it.
It's Victoria Patterson of the Columbia Lions joining us, trackside champion in the 3K and the 5K, the women's distance medley relay, continuing here with the 1,200-meter portion. And it's been pretty tight here. Nobody has fallen off just yet, and as we saw, we can have lead changes all over the field. As we come into this stretch, it is Princeton and Liebig in front for the Tigers. Liebig, such a great runner. She's had a terrific season and weekend, trying to put her team into first place after the first leg.
And by the way, Alex, just a subtext to what we saw on the men's side, that Princeton picking up 8 points for second place, but Graham Blank's falling all the way down to 5th place. That's a pickup of 6 points in the standings for Princeton. So they went from being down 13 points, now they're down 7. It's still going to require quite an effort in the final 2 relays for the Princeton Tigers, but chopping 6 points off the deficit in one race, that's a heck of a way to start a comeback.
Liebig continuing to lengthen the lead here over the field, and Harvard currently running in second place with Izzy Goldstein. It's certainly no repeat of last year when Princeton was smashing the field and Harvard was the runner-up by 50, 60, almost 100 points at indoors and outdoors. This is certainly going to go right down to the wire on the men's side. It looks like Harvard on the women's side in strong position with a lead of over 60 points over Princeton in that portion. Starting the second leg, and for Princeton, Stella Veith in front. And the Crimson will follow in second place with Jacqueline Okereke.
Yeah, and what we're seeing for Harvard in this relay on the women's side, that they are being extra careful with that 60-plus point lead. They're being extra careful on these handoffs and just making sure that they're not taking any chances. They'll be okay that Princeton runs away if they do end up running away with the victory. Harvard's just looking to finish top 2 or 3 in this relay and just keep their heads above water.
Bridget Vitu is currently right behind Okereke as Yale is in second place, but certainly a much different race than what we saw on the men's side, where they stuck pretty close for vast portions of it. This has been one where Princeton in this case for Veith, has just decided to get up and go, and she's about to hand off to start the third leg as the baton goes to Maddie Kramer. Kramer off and running. Harvard hands it off to Marianne Mijas. Yale gives to Ruby Barton. Columbia to Lucy Henkel. And Dartmouth has it in the hands of Andy Murray. This event was won last season by Columbia. The quartet of Phoebe Anderson, Kimmy Woods, Seneca Willen, and Nicole Vanasse. We'll see Vanasse for Columbia run that final leg. It's still a big lead for Princeton. Certainly with a lot of race to go, it is not impenetrable at this point.
Winning times that we're expecting to see today, probably just under 12 minutes, so we're not quite yet at the midway point overall here in this race.
It's a total of 4,000 meters, about 2.5 miles here in the track. The lead for Princeton has maintained. A couple of laps to go on this leg here, but strong running here from Maddie Kramer. A little bit more of a gap built up between second and third. Harvard, and now Penn is running in third place with Phoebe White, followed by Columbia, the defending champion, and Lucy Henkel, as Yale is starting to fall off a little bit with Ruby Barton. Cornell currently running in last place.
Quick note is from the men's DMR, there was a little bit of a bump between Harvard and Columbia that is under review. We had one official come over, and another couple officials are making their way over.
What do they say, rubbing is racing? Well, certainly seeing a great race from Marianne Mijas. She has cut down a lot of the Princeton lead. She's got Maddie Kramer in her sights, and she could conceivably be in position to pass her going into this final handoff. Kramer is trying to hold her off, but that lead is not as big as it was when Princeton started this leg. 8 more laps to go. The Tigers give it to India Weir. She'll have the lead, but it's not by much. Penelope Salmon is right on her heels and looks like she wants to put herself into a drafting position. Maybe she'll try and pass her here on the back stretch. Yale has rebounded to move into fourth place. Columbia is in third. That's Nicole Vanasse. Quality runner, and she will make a bid to make up the ground. With Columbia currently in third place, it's Princeton, Harvard, then Columbia.
Mijas made up the 3 seconds on Kramer. That brings us to a neck-and-neck stretch here with these anchor leg runners.
Penelope Salmon trying to get herself in position here. She's certainly in a good spot to track the Princeton runner in India Weir. Harvard has had a great women's meet after they came up 1 point shy of Penn at Outdoor Heps in New Haven. You know, we talked with the director of track and field at Harvard, Jason Soretsky, about, you know, the team had a tough hand in that one. They almost had the win. They had it for most of the way and then were nipped at the end by Penn. Now they have moved themselves into a dominant spot here. Salmon, first year from Auckland, New Zealand. And India Weir, the senior here for Princeton. This looks like it's going to come down to who's going to make a move, but I'll tell you what, the pace at the front is slowed down enough that you're starting to see Columbia, Yale, and Penn get close to shouting distance to get back in this race. So,
right.
while Salmon is not making the move to pass, maybe she's allowing those other teams to creep back into position.
Yeah, that's exactly what Weir is doing. Is both of these runners, they're staying stride for stride with each other. They're trying to rope-a-dope one another into not having enough left in the tank. But like you said, by focusing on 1, 2, they're allowing 3, 4, 5 to get right back into the conversation.
4 more laps to go. And now the move is made. Salmon goes around the outside to grab first place. But still, you've got Yale, who's moved up into third place. Penn and Columbia all certainly within shouting distance. A lot of ground to make up for the other schools. Dartmouth, Brown, and Cornell currently trailing in 8th place. And now those top two are starting to build up that advantage a little bit more than it was the last time they came around this part of the track. Salmon has started to up the tempo here. Harvard, 2 wins in this event. Columbia has won the most 3 times, so the Crimson would look to join Columbia. Princeton has won it once. This is an event that was added prior to the 2014-15 season, but the all-time Ivy record was set before it was an indoor Heps event. That was set by Dartmouth in 2012. 11 years ago, they went 11 minutes, 0.62 seconds. The top time was held by Dartmouth this year at 11:14.22. It's Harvard and Princeton, and then a big gap before you get to Columbia.
Just an update on that men's DMR review. Nothing comes of it in the bump between Columbia and Harvard.
Officials just wanted to look at video of the race.
That's right.
It's been a theme throughout the day. Here we go, on to the bell lap. And now the move is made by Princeton and Weir to take the lead. Now can Salmon catch her for a second time on this leg? Weir has really put it on. She's built up a much bigger lead. She was holding something back, and Salmon is going to be hard-pressed to chase her down. India Weir will send the Princeton Tigers to their second ever win in the women's distance medley relay. India Weir comes from behind in the final lap, takes control, and delivers the Tigers a relay victory.
Really nice job by Princeton, picking and choosing what it is that they were going to do to find themselves the right combination. They ran a time of 11:22.28 earlier this year, and while this time here today is not quite that, they punched the right code to find exactly who was going to get them enough, and it was India Weir, the answer on the anchor leg, that speaks volumes about Princeton's combination. Penelope Salmon, she grabbed the lead at points during her anchor leg, but fell by just over 2 seconds, but it was all said and done.
So the DMR is in the books. Cornell won it on the men's side, Princeton on the women's side, and that will leave us with 2 more relays to go.